Hi, I'm Noah Spiegelman. I'm 14 years old. I go to the Contra Costa Jewish Day School in Lafayette, and I have 2 brothers, a dog, and yeah.
Noah came out kicking and screaming, and I always say that he came out early wanting to know what the world was about.
He's a bright kid, played all sorts of sports, soccer, tennis, water polo, always a straight-A student at school, super diligent.
Noah loves to hang out with his friends. He likes school. He really likes math.
We used to do everything together back when we lived in Southern California. We both lived there.
I've been Noah's pediatrician since he's been about 4 years of age. He and my daughter were in preschool together.
Well, in November of 2015, I started playing water polo. And during that time, I had a lot of back pain. And I just blamed it on water polo. I thought, oh, this is nothing.
Usually with children, abdominal pain or back pain is a pretty benign problem that doesn't persist.
We told him it's going to be fine, you're going to be fine.
I stopped playing water polo and kept coming back.
So then February of 2016, towards the end of that, Noah was with Robin at the local, at Target, and he was kind of shifting his feet and not walking normally. And I remember he was in his Ugg boots and I wasn't there, but she called me and he had just kind of fell over. So motherly instinct was, something's wrong. We need to do something immediately. And then I remember they did a few more scans and they determined that he had a tumor, this mass in the back, and they decided that they needed to operate on him.
I was scared. I didn't know what to expect.
That was one of the longest days of my entire life, and there's a 10-hour procedure that we would get updates on every couple of hours. You know, is he going to make it out alive? Is he going to be able to walk again? When they came out, they biopsied it, which took a couple of days, but during that procedure, they actually gave him a full body scan, an MRI.
The tumor that we initially found was a spinal tumor, and it took a couple of days to realize that it wasn't a primary tumor, that it was actually a metastatic tumor, but the origin of his tumor was in his brain. It's called a yolk sac tumor, and it is a exceedingly rare tumor for a child. I've never had seen this in 21 years of practice.
I had a really hard time finding strength in the beginning. I remember in the very beginning when we heard about the diagnosis and what the name was, I looked on Google or WebMD. I thought to myself, geez, I can't do this. I became overwhelmed emotionally, and that was the last time that I searched anything on the internet.
You know, you imagine your child having this amazing life, and I frankly had never really been intimately involved with anyone who had been so sick. And you imagine their wedding day and you imagine their children and you wonder, is this going to be a possibility for him?
When I first got the diagnosis that Noah had cancer in his back, it was one of those times that is seared in my memory. I knew that these people that I loved, their life was going to change forever.
The treatment plan was to do chemo to try to melt the tumors, and then possibly radiation. So they did the surgery, then Noah had 6 rounds of chemo.
We put a camera in the house so that every day when he was getting his chemo treatments, he would call the dog over to the camera and she would spin around and look who was calling. And so every day for a good hour or 2 daily, he would come and talk to the dog.
During that time in the hospital, he learned to get his voice, and he became extremely strong and very confident about being poked and prodded and woken up in the middle of the night. The chemo made the tumor in the back disappear, but not the one in the brain. So then we had to interview brain surgeons all the way up and down the state and decided on a surgeon at UCSF in San Francisco who did this 10-hour brain surgery. That was extremely successful, but that was another nerve-wracking 10-hour procedure where we were kind of pacing in the cafeteria with family and friends.
All of these departments within hospitals and doctors and organizations, they're very, very siloed, and institutions seem to stand behind their protocols and their machines and their philosophies. And as a parent, there's a lot of different information that you have to digest.
What I can tell parents who are in these really difficult situations is that honestly, they have to be the driver of their own vehicle. They have to be the ones to figure out the best treatment for their child.
And then each and every day, there's always something new. The blood work didn't come back well. They have to change this. They have to do that. We're ready for radiation. No, we have to get brain surgery. One of the hardest parts is the unknown. Every day, it's an unknown, and you kind of have to live with the unknown.
It was the worst year because I have all my treatments and surgeries, but I said it was also the best because all my friends are so supportive and I got to go all these places and see these new things.
So we went to the A's game on a party bus, and we arrived, and then we went in the stadium. Noah got to go on the field, and then they started talking about him, and he threw the first pitch.
It was pretty cool. I really enjoyed it. And they were over the loudspeaker, Noah Spiegelman. I just felt like a star and felt really good.
Thank you, Noah. All the best.
A few weeks later, we actually ended up going to Boston for treatment because they had a specialized type of radiation that wasn't going to scatter and hit all of his other organs.
I stayed at this place called Christopher's Haven. It was just an amazing place.
Christopher's Haven is a nonprofit that houses families when their children are going through cancer treatment.
Boston, I think, was really an integral part of his healing, and even though it was his treatment, people think about radiation, but they don't realize that when you have a brain tumor and you're a 10-year-old kid, you actually get strapped to a table in a very hard mask. And in Noah's case, he was locked down in that mask for 1 hour, strapped to a table every single day for 6 weeks. My approach to Boston and that whole experience was that, okay, that's an hour out of our day, but we're really here to live. We're not here to just have treatment and go home. And so on most days, at least at the beginning, he was feeling really well, and we took the opportunity to explore every corner of that city, restaurants and places and museums, and his best friend Noah Barmay came, and his grandmother came, and the brothers came, and we went to parks, and we really lived.
Very well, thank you. Yes, sir.
I don't think I will be going to sleep tonight.
Oh, and what do you think your mother will say about that?
Why were you eating so much junk? Oh, why would you even tell your mother? Ooh, simple logic right there. Bam!
The loft is the play area. It is the moms and dads drinking wine and beer area once the kids go to sleep. And it's the space where you can be as loud as you want, and you can jump, and you can bounce balls as loud as you want, and everything that maybe mom and dad don't want you to do, you're allowed to do.
I think when he looks back on that time in his life, he actually doesn't remember the radiation as much as he remembers all the things that we did. And he says even today that he wants to go to school in Boston, that it's really his favorite place.
I went on the Make-A-Wish Foundation trip to Costa Rica. We ziplined and ate a lot of food. At first, I was really scared. I did not want to go on the platform, and my brothers were pushing me. It's like, no, let's do the bigger one. Let's do the bigger one. And I was like, no. So my mom's like, I'll go. She went, and she's like, if I can do this, then you definitely can do this. And I held onto the zip line, strapped in, and I flew.
We're 4 years out now from his diagnosis, and we're more comfortable that it's very unlikely to ever come back. Noah's school has been integral into his healing, actually. He is in class with 15 or 16 other kids, and it is an incredibly supportive, warm, fun environment.
The first day that I went to CCJDS, no one knew that I had cancer, and I felt great. I just could feel it in the air that this was the right place for me. 1 year after I moved to CCJDS, Noah Barme and his family moved up to Northern California, and he joined my school.
It's kind of like a boomerang, like we were friends, and then we kind of lost touch a little bit, and then he got cancer and stuff, and now we're like back to square one. We're back to friends again. You know, we see each other every day, we do everything together.
The reason he did so well was because he has amazing, supportive parents who would move mountains to get him the best treatment.
A couple of things that made me realize I was going to get through this were my loving support of my family and friends, and my dog. She's great.
We learned a tremendous amount about Noah and the family during that time. I think during that 6 or 7 months of our crises that occurred, the family kind of just came together. We held everything together. Robin and I were very supportive of each other. We had an incredible, group of family, friends, the school, people came over, they wanted to deliver meals.
I'm so grateful to my friends. I feel like my little one Simon was raised by my friend Joelle for an entire year, and sometimes I don't even know where he was, but I knew he was okay.
First, I thought my parents were giving him all the attention, but then I realized that he needed it.
My parents, my in-laws, they were there by the kids' side, by our side, 24/7.
I think that I supported my parents in some ways too, because I showed them that I could make it through this and it was okay and everything would be all good. Before I had this experience of cancer, I used to be pretty shy. I wouldn't speak out for myself.
He changed, I think. He got more comfortable.
I remember when he was in his hospital bed and they wanted him to start walking and he started swearing. He was like, F you!
I told the doctors, no, I don't like this. This hurts me. I had a voice.
He really appreciates life and he has a vigor for it, and he just kind of takes the bull by its horns and just goes and goes and goes.
I see a young man who is going to change the way the people around him look at this world because of his strength and his determination, and his attitude is light and love, and he is strength, and nothing has stopped him or slowed him down, and I really don't see anything in the future being able to do that.
This child has gone through more pain than probably any of us will know in a lifetime, and he has just powered through it and just took it day by day, and really should be an inspiration to a lot of us.
And my biggest hope is that he has, a beautiful life ahead of him with health. And I imagine that Noah is going to find somebody that balances him very well, and he's going to give something to the world that maybe otherwise he wouldn't have been able to do.
I'm proud that I got to help him, recover like this. In life, it's good to have one or two friends that you can count on for everything, and that to me is Noah.
If someone came to me and they were the same age that I was when I got diagnosed and they had the same diagnosis, the advice I would give them is stay strong. It's okay to be scared. You're gonna get through this.